Hi, my name is Steve from the Stone Crafting Workshop. Welcome back. Today I'm going to do a review of this angle grinder. It's the Ferrex 1200 watt corded angle grinder. It's not cordless. And I bought it for a particular reason. And what we'll do is we'll open the box and have a look at all the bits, and I'll show you how the thing goes together. And then I'll use it for a couple of hours, and I'll grind a load of stuff and cut and what have you, and I'll tell you what I think of it. So these are the contents out of the box. The model number of this, by the way, is WWS EWS 1200-Z01. Inside the box you've got the angle grinder itself with cover already attached. You've got the blade nuts with a locking nut. You've got a handle, a second cover, and that fits on this one, and I'll show you how that goes in a minute. You've got the key, or the spanner, depending on which you want to call it. It's got a 3-meter cord with a plug already attached, a UK plug already attached, and you get a spare pair of brushes which tells you that this is a brushed motor. I'm not always that keen on getting tools with brushes because it kind of implies that they get through them, but only time will tell. The machine itself is quite a hefty little machine. It doesn't feel lightweight in any way at all, and it seems to be pretty well built. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought it was going to be much lighter and kind of cheaper than this. The handle fits in 3 locations, there, there and there. I can never quite figure out why you'd want one on top here, but somebody will tell me. The spark guard, or the dust guard, has a quick removal device. If we take the 2 lock nuts off, and what you do, you turn it, there's a couple of lugs on the inside of the rim here that line up with 2 slots here. So to get it on and off, you have to line it up with those. And I don't know, I got that off because it actually lines up the other way around. Like that. And then you can clip that up tight and lock the cover in place if you turn it enough. So that's quite a nice feature. The motor is 1200 watt, which means it's kind of mid-range angle grinder. Angle grinder motors range from as low as 450 watts up to 2000 and 2200 watt motors. This being 1200 watt is a mid-range, so it's quite powerful. It's got a safety trigger, and you can't switch it on unless you press this safety catch, and then it switches on and off. And it's got a lock button for the spindle lock. So when you're fitting a blade, you just locate that. If you're fitting a blade on, you locate the blade, put the locking nut down and tighten it, and the spindle lock holds it, and you can tighten or untighten, and you may want to use the spanner. I personally never use spanners, or rarely use spanners, but you can tighten it or untighten it just by holding the spindle lock in. My finger's on the spindle lock at the back here. So, and there's one other feature which is actually the reason I bought this angle grinder. It has an electronic variable speed control, and you can vary the speed from 3000 revs per minute up to 12,000 revs per minute. Now, if you bought an angle grinder like this, this is the only mains angle grinder I can find that has a variable speed control. There may be others, but I haven't found them yet. And what that means is that this particular machine is not only going to be a really good cutting machine, it's also going to be useful as a sander. You can't possibly sand with a machine. When I say sand, I'm talking about using sanders and polishing discs and what have you. If you hang on, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So for example, this is a standard 14mm M14 fitting. So it'll take a standard polishing head. It will take up to a 4-inch. This is about 3.5 inch. And you could use it as a polisher. And you can't possibly do that if you buy an Anglegrinder that's running at 12,000 revs. Most of them tend to run around about 11,000 or even as low as 8,000, but that's still too fast for sanding. So it makes this a really useful and versatile little tool, and that's why I bought it. You can run it right down to 3,000 revs. So what I'll do, I'll put this together for use. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. This is the second cover. In the book, it actually tells you that it comes with 2 dust guards. One like this, and the other one with a cover across this face. But it doesn't do that now. This one actually comes with this fitting instead. It doesn't mention that in the instructions, of course. And what you do is you simply feed that on. I say simply, it's a little bit of a fiddly faff. How did I do it? Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. And you feed it round. And that forms the cover over the face for when you're grinding. Sorry, that's for when you're cutting. If you're using it with a diamond or a carbo disc. And when you're grinding, or indeed when you're polishing. So if you were using a grinding disc like this one, I've taken the flanges off, look, idiot. If you were using a grinder, this is a grinding disc. You would take that cover off and use it like that. Grind, grind, grind. And if you were cutting with a blade, you'd put that cover on to give you extra protection for when you're cutting. Like that. So, as I say, what I'll do, I'll put this together now for use. And then I'll go through it again and show you it plugged in and perhaps doing a few odd little tasks. Nothing too dusty because I'm in the workshop. Right, so we're all plugged in. First of all, let's just fire it up. That's it on full revs, 12,000 revs per minute. Let's run it and then slow the thing right down. So 3,000 revs per minute, as you can hear, is actually pretty slow. And that would be really handy, I suppose, if you were trying to do something fine and careful. But as I say, for me, the big feature is the fact that I could use it as a polisher. So let's set this up first of all for its normal use, which is as a cutter. You have 2 flange nuts that lock on, that go onto the spindle. One of them has this slotted section here, which fits over the flats here. And so you just put that over and you turn it and it drops on and now locks on the spindle. Let's put it on with, oh no, first of all, because we're cutting, we're going to put this cover over, and you simply feed it on and it clicks round. Gets easier with a little practice, this. And then what we'll do, the first thing we'll do is cut a little bit of metal. So let me get a metal cutting disc. This is one of these very thin metal cutting discs. You don't have to use these thin ones with this cutter because it's so powerful. You can use thicker discs for most of the work you do on with an angle grinder like this, but we'll use it a thin one. Makes no difference. It takes pretty well all standard angle grinder discs. Quick word about this locking nut. Okay, it goes two ways. When you're using thin discs like these thin carbo discs or a metal diamond disc, you put it with it's got a raised section here, a raised flange going round, and you put it with that upwards, flat side down. Incidentally, I've made a whole video about whether you should do you notice I'm using the spanner here because I'm on film. I wouldn't normally do that. And so we're ready for cutting. You set up an angle grinder. If you're right-handed, you would normally have the handle on this side with the blade over here, so you can look over the top and see the edge of the cutting blade, and that way you can cut to a line, and this cover is protecting you from the dust and the sparks and the might be metal grindings flying up in the air. So that's how you set it up for cutting, and normally you'd use it for cutting on full speed. I can't think of any reason for using it on slow speed for cutting offhand, but there's bound to be something useful for it. And there we are, ready for cutting. Let's change the configuration now for grinding, specifically for using a metal grinding disc. I've switched the power off because I'm really careless about such things sometimes. And first of all, we'll take this cover off. You twist the cover off, then you take the blade off. Now you see I tightened that up with the spanner, but easily undid it by hand. Now what you want to do is to change the position of this cover for grinding, and you want the cover around there. This is a little bit loose. I could do with tightening this up slightly, but it's okay. So now when you're grinding, you've got the cover protecting you from dust coming back towards yourself. And you want the handle on the other side. You want the handle on this side. So we put the handle on that side, if you're right-handed. And then you put your grinding disc on. So the first nut. As I say, this lock nut now goes with the raised flange downwards, so it fits into the rim of the cutting disc because they're so thick. And then you just hold the locking spindle lock and tighten it up, and now you're ready for grinding. And I think when you're grinding, or in my case when I'm polishing, that's when you're going to use the speed control the most. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this tool for a couple of hours. I've got some cutting and grinding in to do, and I'll try a bit of polishing, and I'll try a bit of this and a bit of that, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of it. I'm already quite impressed. So I've been playing with this now for a couple of hours. I cut a fair bit of steel and some of it pretty heavy, and it just whizzed through that. I also did some stone cutting and some stone grinding, polishing, and I ground off a bit of steel, and it really performed well at all those tasks. And certainly for the stone, sanding off the stone, not polishing but sanding off the stone, that certainly worked really well, slowing the thing down to about half speed. And you can see how the speed control makes this a really versatile machine. I actually worked it quite hard at times, especially on the sanding job. I was leaning on it, grinding out some marks in the face of the stone, and it didn't seem to overheat or anything like that. It feels really well made. It's really comfortable to use, quite ergonomic. The handle is a nice soft grip, and the trigger with its safety catch works really well. And the guard is really easy to use. Once you get used to fiddling about with it, you realise that the guard is actually really useful. And you know, when I was cutting the metal, especially, the sparks were going nowhere near me. They weren't coming out the back of the machine, which is ideal. All in all, I'm impressed, and I like angle grinders. I've got quite a few angle grinders. I bought the Parkside cordless angle grinder for the same reason. That has a speed control, a variable speed control on it. But any cordless tool is going to be much less powerful than this one, which is why you buy corded tools, truthfully, because you want the power. So, do I think it's worth it? It cost me 25 quid. I bought it online from Aldi, and I think it's well worth the money so far. Perhaps in 3 months' time I might change my mind, and if I do, I'll make a video about it. But I think this is going to be a good, useful tool for my workshop, and I think anybody would be pleased to buy it. So, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you decide whether to buy this this Ferrex 1200 watt angle grinder. If you enjoyed the video and you think it's useful, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more reviews about stone tools and stoneworking tools, and you want to see videos about stoneworking and stone carving, please subscribe to the channel. So thank you for watching.